What's going on, everybody? This is gonna be another story time type of video. And before I come back here and tell you guys a story, I need to head to the gym and take out my frustrations on the gym because your boy doesn't get pussy and your boy needs to take out his frustrations on the gym. Peace. All right, halfway to the gym. Let's get this thing to the J train. I just gotta wait 2 minutes for the J train and then we're there. Here we go! All right, we're done. The workout complete. I had to do pull day, so it was pretty easy. Well, not easy, but like it was fast. All right, I don't think this thing can make it all the way back 2 miles, but let's see how far it can go. Because the battery's almost dead. Surprisingly, it did. It started slowing down right when I hit the corner, but we made it all the way back without having to take the bus. All right, it is the next day. Yesterday I was very busy to record the video, but today I have a lot of free time and we're gonna finish the story time on my worst Tinder date experience. So let's get right into it. Well, before we get into it, I gotta take a couple dabs real quick, so give me a second. Really? All right, I'm feeling pretty good now. So this story happened about in December of 2020. I can't remember the exact day, but I know it happened in December and it was winter time. It was very cold. So I am like going through a very dry drought at this time with the girls. Like I have not had a girl in any girl interaction like months, right? Because it's the pandemic and shit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting there like, all right, let me go on Tinder. So I downloaded Tinder and made a profile, and then for a few days at a time, I've been swiping and swiping. This one day, I was literally swiping for like 3 hours. Like 3 hours, like literally. I don't know what the hell was going through my mind this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, all right, bet I need somebody to like respond to me right now. So I'm swiping. And then I finally get like 2 or 3 matches at the time. I can't remember the exact amount of matches I had. It was a very while ago, like 2020. It's like almost 2 years ago already. Damn, time flies by hella fast, y'all. From her profile, she looked really nice. She was just a random black girl that I matched up with. But after a while, she messaged me first, like, "Yo, what's up? How you doing?" I can't remember exact how the interaction went, but I'm just popping it up in my mind. But I was like, how you doing? And then, we exchanged texts for a while until she immediately mentioned like, yo, like, let me pull up to your place. Mind you, I'm living at my parents' house at the time. This is not my apartment I'm living in right now. I just moved here a couple weeks ago. This was way back in 2020. So I'm thinking in my mind like, shit. Like I can't remember exactly how I finessed her to rent a hotel room, but all I said was like, oh, my roommate is there, and my roommates are there, and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, I'll rent a room for both of us. I'm in my mind, I'm like, all right, bet, all right. A nice girl that's about to rent a hotel room for a night. So I don't know her full story yet until we met up in person. We agreed to meet at a certain time, and I remember I'm just sitting in my garage sessioning it up, because I'm like, all right, bet, I'm just trying to get lit before I meet up with this girl that I don't know, and I'm nervous. So it took a while for her to pull up. I'm thinking, all right, 15 minutes pass, no response, and then 5 minutes pass again, no response, and then another 10 minutes pass. So I'm like, all right, this girl is not gonna meet with me. I'm just gonna call it a day, go inside and take a nap, right? And I immediately get this text message right as I'm about to go inside, like, I'm here. I'm like, where are you? I'm looking at my camera, I don't see nobody in my side door. And she was like just standing at my front door. And I'm like, all right, I'm here. And because I'm coming out of my garage, mind you, so I'm just having no idea what time she's coming. So I meet up with her on the front, and when we immediately meet up, she looks totally different than what she looked on camera. Like, not like catfish type shit, like not like a totally different, but like she just didn't look exactly how she looked on camera. So I'm like, whatever. I mean, shit. I'm nice. She still looks nice. So fuck it. I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And she's like, hey, how you doing? And then we talked for a little bit, and then we walked away from my house immediately. We started walking towards another block, and after a while, she's like, oh, I'll order us an Uber. And she cashed out me the money for the Uber, and then I paid for the Uber, and we went inside the Uber and went all the way to the hotel. And I know. I mean, in the Uber, she was just talking about like why she was like here in New York, like where she's from. She's from like the South, from what I remember. I can't remember every detail, but all I remember is that she is not from around New York, and she was only there for like 2 3 days. So I'm just thinking, all right. So I'm guessing that she's just trying to find a place to stay for the night. So I'm like, all right, bet. You can just I'm still gonna go along with the narrative because she invited me over to the room. So I'm like, all right, bet. We're in the ride. This is one of the most awkward Uber rides. And like it's the most one of the most awkward Uber rides I've ever been in. Being next to a girl that you just met from Tinder that you don't know, and in a very ghetto Uber car. It was mad ghetto car. It wasn't even like a regular Toyota sedan. It was like, I can't remember the exact car, but all I remember is that it had tapes all over and shit. So I'm just like, all right, bet. It's gonna be an adventure. So we finally get all the way to the hotel room after struggling to get through the highway and shit and trying to get through the turns, and everybody was in the way. I don't know, in 2020, I don't know what everybody was on at that time. But when we finally got there, we went straight to the room after she checked herself in and stuff, and I'm thinking in my mind like, oh shit, I'm about to get me some pussy, I'm about to get laid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a little condom in my wallet just in case anything happens. And we went straight to the room. So first thing I noticed is that she wanted to smoke. I'm like, all right. I mean, I normally don't do this. Normally I do and then smoke. But I was like, you know what? Whatever. Fuck it. I need to. I mean, my high ass at the time was like, all right, whatever. I'll smoke some more. So all right. So I had a lighter. We just went all the way to the gas station, grabbed a lighter, and then walked all the way back to the hotel room with that lighter. And then we proceeded to smoke. And it's just the most like if someone on TikTok was asking me what was the most awkward smoke sesh, it would have to be this one. I'm just literally just sitting, like laying on that hard ass hotel bed, just like smoking a joint with this random black girl, and the sesh just goes on. It was like a very small joint. It wasn't really like anything large. It was like I put like less than a gram in this joint for sure. It wasn't anything like large. After we smoked, I was like, all right, what should we do now? She's like, well, I was like already up there. I was about to get ready to pull down my pants and shit. I'm like, yo, what should we about to do? And she was like, oh, like I was trying to take off her hat, and her hat was like, she was not trying to like. She was trying not for me to take it off, so I'm like, holy shit, is this like a dude or some shit? So I'm just sitting there, like, it wasn't a dude. It wasn't a trans or anything. She was still a girl, but she was just sitting there. She's like, oh, we're not doing anything. I literally just had a baby. I'm just sitting there. I'm all traumatized and shit. I'm like, yo, like, I'm getting weirded out. So I'm thinking, holy shit, why the fuck am I here then? Like, I'm just sitting I'm like, okay, then I literally asked her, I'm like, why am I here then? She's like, oh, I just wanted something to smoke. And I'm like, okay, like, why couldn't you just ask me for the weed? I would have just gave it to you. And I would have, like, why am I here then? Like, I'm still sitting there more weirded out. Like, that feeling you get when you're at the movie theater and like you're at the credits, but then your mom's decided to stay there a little longer, or like you're at a field trip and you're like, why am I still here? This is getting boring as fuck. I had that feeling, but times 10. I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of here. Like, it's kind of ruining my high and everything. So I'm like, all right, like, I gotta get out of here. And like, I'm just asking her more and more questions, because the more questions I'm asking her, the more weirded out I get, because she kept lying and shit. I could tell. And I asked her, like the most obvious one I would say was, I asked her, like, can I see the photo of that child? She's like, I don't have any photos, my ex has it. I'm like, well, if you had a child, you would have at least like 10 photos. You would have a hospital tag on you and all that shit. Like, I didn't say all that shit out loud, but I was all like that in my head. I'm like, dude, you gotta get out of here. Like, that's all I was thinking in my mind. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Let me just get out of here. She was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'll order you a lift back, blah blah blah. I mean, I was gonna deny the offer and just go and just leave, but I'm like 2 miles from my house, so I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll take the offer. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I'll ride along with you and I'll get going with my day. I'm like, all right, whatever. Very weird, awkward situation. So I started getting ready, and after, like, she's just sitting there high as fuck. Like, trying, I'm like, did you order the lift yet? She's like, oh shoot, I totally forgot about it. I'm like, oh hell nah, like, I'm about to get out of here. But she's like, no, I already ordered it. And like, she showed it to me on her phone and everything that's coming. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. You know, I don't want to waste her money. Fuck it. You know, she's nice enough to order me a ride home. All right, I'm going to the car. So the car comes, and you know, I got into the car with the girl too. Like, she came along with the ride, of course. And you know, I told them to drop me off at my house. They dropped me off at my house, and I never ran. I didn't ran inside, but like, I just pretended that I, like, oh hey, I'll see you later, blah blah blah. And then I just walked inside, and then I just ran back in the house, and I never felt more relieved to be home than that day, you know. And whew, it was just insane. Like, I deleted the app immediately, and I never went on Tinder like that ever again. Like, it just traumatized the fuck out of me, like damn near, for like a while. And yeah, that's what made me also, like, every other time I meet with a black girl, I get traumatized with that experience. Like, yeah, nah, I don't know, but I mean, that's besides the point. I mean, I don't get girls in general at all, so I don't have to worry about that shit no more. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story time type of video. I'm gonna tell you guys some more type of story times like this since I moved out of my parents' house. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my own apartment. So I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, peace.